Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to be bulk loading this 100 foot of Kodak Tri-X 400 into this bulk loader machine. What could possibly go wrong? One thing I was never comfortable with was bulk loading my own film. My way of shooting what I need is to load the film, go out and take my shots, come back and in the dark cut out my exposed frames and have the rest for a rainy day. After showing this process on my channel quite a number of times, I had many comments of people saying, why don't you bulk load your own film? And I did think about it, but I'd never trusted myself until one day my mate Ian gave me a spare loader to use. So I got a 100 foot tin and tried it out. And I've been comfortable with it ever since. And for my favourite films, I usually buy in bulk, which saves me a few quid. A 100 foot tin will give you about 18 or so shots of 36 exposures or thereabouts, although I've never counted. Recently a friend of mine kindly donated to the channel another bulk loader along with a tin of Kodak Tri-X 400 and also a leaked duff roll of film to test it out with. Cheers mate! This is the Kaiser Bobbing Quick 135 Bobbing Quick, and as I have a spare duff film I thought I'd show how easy it is to use. How did this roll of film end up out of its tin? Well, apparently it was opened by airport security many moons ago. So let's load this duff roll of film into the bulk loader and make our first film cassette. Whilst I show you this, there may be some others that do it differently or can maybe give me a tip or two, and which I welcome wholeheartedly in the comment section. So these are the tools that you'll need. You'll need a bulk loading machine, a scissors, some tape and an empty film cassette. There are film cassettes that you can buy designed for bulk loading, but I always reuse my old cassettes by making sure that I leave the leader out of the cassette when I rewind the film after I've shot it. That way I can load the film in the dark onto my tank reel and then snip the end off with the scissors, and I can reuse the cassette just by joining the two ends. Just be careful not to get any dirt or grit on the velvet. A little brush should be fine, just as a precaution, as any grit on the velvet it could end up scratching the whole length of your film. These 100 foot tins, you can more likely source your favourite film online. Kodak, Ilford, Oro and Fomapan all provide 100 foot tins for certain films, but not all films that they produce. And it works out a little bit cheaper than buying separate cassettes. Now at first this machine had me stumped. The instructions were not very clear, but I did find a useful video on YouTube that helped me out a little bit, and I'll put a link to that description in the video. However, I was still finding it a bit tricky, but now I know it's as easy as saying tickety-boo. Now this must be done in complete darkness, so a changing bag or a darkroom is going to be needed for you to do any bulk loading of your own film. So you've got everything inside your changing bag or you're in the darkroom. On the back of the machine you have your loading chamber. You've got to unscrew that, and if you look inside you'll find a little slope with some grooves where your film slides under. You have to load your film inside that groove and then place the whole roll inside the chamber. Now this is quite tricky as you can't see what you're doing. All you're doing is feeling your way underneath the changing bag or in the darkroom. But lucky you, I can show you how I do it with using a duff roll. So once all this is inside your changing bag, you're going to open the lid and get the cassette winder out, which slots in this little area here. Then you close the lid and then you push the cassette winder in the slot. You'll hear a click when you close the lid, and you push the winder in firmly, that will click in place too. Now you're ready to load your film. I found it easy to hold the roll in my left hand and pull a small length of film away with my right. With the roll of film in my left hand and a piece of the film in my right, I now need to feed the film into the slope and the grooves. So if you look at your machine, you'll see this little slope and these two grooves. That's where your film is going to have to go under, but of course you're doing this all by feel and touch in the dark. Using my thumb, I can then slide the film into the slope and the groove, and I'll just keep pushing until I feel like I can't go any further, and that's when I know that I've got the film ready in place for loading my cassettes. And the next thing to do after that is to roll the film tightly and then drop the film into the loading chamber and then screw on the lid. Make sure that's really tight. It should now be hanging out of the loading cassette area. Now you can take the machine out of your dark or the changing bag, and there is a lever on the side that you can press to reset your remaining film indicator. So that shows you how much film you've got left. So loading the cassette is really simple. You'll take the crank lever out again and then you'll open the lid or the gate as they call it. You'll see your film hanging out. If it's not, just try and feed it through with this little knob on the side. If nothing comes out, then back in the dark you go, you've obviously loaded it wrong. So if all's gone well, you'll see a little tiny film strip sticking out at the end. you need to just cut a small strip of tape, whatever tape you're using, and stick it to the outside of your film, the non-emulsion side. And then you want to pull enough film out and stick it so both ends are flush. And once you've stuck the two ends together nice and flush, just pop the cassette back into the cassette slot, close the lid, put the crank winder back in, and load however many frames that you want to do for your shoot. I'm going to choose 26 frames, and on the side is an indicator. So if you line them two arrows up together, the first 5 clicks will be your leader, and then off you go until the number comes up to 26. Once that's done, all you need to do then is just take the crank arm out, open the lid or the gate, pull the cassette out, cut away, and make yourself a nice little smart leader. Now this is my film after shooting 26 frames. I always shoot a couple less because I know I've had some of the end of the film exposed whilst joining the two together. If there's a way of fixing that, please let me know in the comments, because this is the way I do it. So with all that out of the way, I've been itching to get this Tri-X inside this machine here for some time, but obviously wanted to make the video for you guys first of all. So let's see how quick it can take me to get, or how easy it is for me to do this now in the dark. So this is Kodak Tri-X 400 film. There it is there. It's all sealed up. I'm going to pop all this in a changing bag and put it to the real test. I mean, it's easy when you've got your eyes on it, you know, and when you're making a video on it. I've been practicing loads with that lucky roll of wasted film, which I'll be doing some more experiments with another time. So this is a changing bag from photoflex.com. In it goes, that's the tin there. I put the machine inside as well, and the back of the machine, and that's all I need. I'll zip this up so it's nice and dark. Don't want any light getting inside this, otherwise that whole roll will be wasted. It's tricky because I'm doing this on my lap. I've got no table to do it on to show you guys with the video camera as well, but I'm sure I'll be alright. Stick the arm through there, the other arm through there. Oh, blimey. Hey! Right, and inside that tin is a black bag. And when I put my hand inside the black bag, that'll be where the film is, and there should be some tape holding the film together. I don't want to let the film go, otherwise it'll just all spiral out of control, so that's why I hold it with my left hand. Right, okay, I've now got the roll in my left hand, and I'm just now thumbing the film into the little slope where the little grooves are. This is much more difficult doing it inside a changing bag. Ah, there we go. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Ah, there you go. There it's in. Now I can feed that through. I fed it through, lovely jubbly, and now I need to, like I said, pull that. Oh, it slipped off my lap. I've got it now. I'm just now trying to plonk the reel inside. There you go. Inside the. Inside the. There you go. Done it. Go. Now I get the lid on. Can't find it. There's the lid. Make sure that's on properly. Nice and tight. And now I can take the cog out, or the rewind stick, open the gate or the lid, whatever you want to call it. And the film's not there, but I can just advance slightly using that little tiny, there it is there, got it. Okay, I'm done. I'll just put the rewind stick back in, and I'll pull my hands out and show you guys what I'm up to. Not too bad, what was that? A few minutes. I'm just got to make sure that it's on properly and tight, and there's no side bits. Yeah, okay. There it is, all done. There's the tin with the lid. That's the black plastic bag that the film was wrapped inside. I'll keep that in the tin. And somewhere in here is the tape. That's the little bit of tape that was holding the film together. And also, I've got to find the other bit. Oh, it's on the bag. There was another piece of tape that was wrapped around the tin. Right. And if we look, there's the film all ready to be loaded. And that's it. It's as simple as that. It took me a little bit of working out at first when I first got this and playing around with this Duff roll of film. Luckily I had that because it gave me a good chance to really get in there and start playing around. But if I didn't have that, I would have just used a strip of film and try to figure out how it goes inside that, or figure a way that I can get used to it. Just use a strip of film and get used to it. That's exactly how I did the other bulk loader that I've got as well. So anyway guys, hope you enjoyed that video. Massive thanks to Crimson Obscura for sending me this, and of course the Tri-X, which I'm looking forward to showing you guys on the channel, this film in different developers in due course. And of course that stuff as well, that'll be handy to play around with some experiments. And massive thanks to Ian as well for sending me that first one ages ago. Ian, thanks a lot mate for that. Hope you enjoyed the video guys. I'll catch you next time.